Hello everybody, my name is Ratnos, and today I wanted to make a quick video about Tazavesh, how it works, a little bit of a guide for your first run, some tips and tricks that would have been nice for me to know before my first run. So first off, how do you get into Tazavesh? There's a quest in Oribos at the Innkeeper, the Alley Cat of Oribos. Start this quest chain, do it, takes about 15 minutes, it sends you kind of all over Shadowlands, doing random stuff, just follow the quest chain on your map. Easy enough to do that, and once you do that, you will eventually make your way to Tazavesh, which is the new dungeon. It looks really cool, really sweet, hidden off down in the corner of the Shadowlands. So you finish out this little intro here, you arrive here, you do this bouncer spoken to bit. It takes a little bit of time, and then eventually you will get a quest to go into Tazavesh, and that's the like normal mode quest there. You get this Tazavesh, Raiders of the Lost Artifact. Okay, now at this point you have a decision to make. Do you want to try and do hard mode this week? You can. It's doable. In order to unlock hard mode, you have to kill the first boss on normal mode. And if you do that, you can then zone out, reset the dungeon, re-kill the first boss on hard mode, get no rewards this week from that, and then kill the remaining 7 bosses on hard mode. The benefits of doing this are, there's a quest for killing the last boss and doing the whole dungeon on hard mode. That will get you a 226 necklace that's pretty good. It's got a pretty good proc. It's about a heroic raid level neck, actually, when you factor in that proc. So that's quite nice. And also, all the bosses will drop 233 loot instead of 226 loot, so a little bit of an item level bump there. Downside, the bosses are harder. You have to do this weird reset thing. So that is your choice available for you. If you want to just do normal mode, simple enough, go through the dungeon, kill the bosses. I'll do a quick guide now for how to turn on the hard mode. So first things first, get in the dungeon, kill the first couple trash packs. This little mini-boss over to the side needs to die, and that will start the first boss encounter. This you need to do on normal mode. You'll loot the boss on normal mode. And so once you have done that, you will then be able to come out of the first boss area, kill off the next little bit of trash here, and then down the side, you will find this questionable trader. I /targeted it, and you can buy the fraudulent credentials from the questionable trader for the low price of 1 copper. Then, you are going to pop open your map. Let me see when I do this in my recording here. Maybe. There it is. Okay, you're going to pop open your map, and you're going to head up to the Oasis up here in the top left of your map. You get to the Oasis, you get to the front door, and unfortunately, they won't let you in. The bouncer doesn't let you in, but the good news is you get to play a fun little mini game in the market here. So in the market, you will get to carry around various items to the appropriate trade vendor. One person can do this while the rest of your group plays defense for them and kills all the, whatever mobs that spawn and try to stop them from doing that. And, you bring the instrument to the instrument vendor or whatever, all of that stuff. Once you've done that, you'll get the password. You'll get the password for the Oasis, enter the building, head on down the stairs here, and put on your necklace, your passively forged credentials, and that will let you talk to this person over in the corner here. So you put on your passively forged credentials, and it'll be like, oh, you've been scammed, your credentials suck, but I will give you better ones. I might actually let you in here, and then you'll realize, oh, I accidentally pulled some trash, so you'll kill the trash, and you'll get the better credentials. Put those credentials on, and you will then get a quest here. Tazavesh, a hard bargain. This is the quest for those perfectly forged credentials that are 226 and are heroic level-ish ones. So definitely make sure you pick up this quest. You do that again by putting on the passively forged one, or the better ones, right? The item level 200 ones. And you will get the quest then for the 226 ones. Okay, once you've done that, you are ready. You are ready for hard mode. So, zone out of the dungeon. Next step, you've zoned out, reset the dungeon. So you don't need to go on alts or anything, just the group leader resets once everybody's outside. Make sure it's on Mythic, obviously. And then hop back into the dungeon. Now this is important. You're going to do something different than you did last time. Everybody in your group is going to use those credentials, and it will turn you into brokers here at the start. Once everybody's done that, you will then be able to skip the usual, killing stuff. You want to do this as well. Talk to this person at the start, and that will progress your quest, too. So everybody gets credit for that, and do that. That's for the hard mode quest. So again, you want to make sure you do that. And then you'll be able to go up here and sneak your way right through. You don't have to fight any monsters here. And you are now in hard mode. So let's go boss by boss and talk a little bit about my impressions of what was important of each of them. This isn't going to be a comprehensive guide to how they worked, but it should hopefully give you a little bit of arming of what you need to know there. In the description of this video as well, I'm going to put a link to some very good written guides if that is more your cup of tea for learning how these sorts of things work. Okay, so first boss on hard mode. The difficulty difference is you don't kill any trash here, but all the trash is now close by, so you need to not go and aggro that. And so you're now killing this boss in a short amount of space. This boss does a couple mechanics. One is that there will be a shield spinning around the boss, and you can only damage the boss if you're not hitting into that shield, right? So there it is, that rotary blocker. You can see it's in my way right now, so I need to move so that it's not, and it slowly rotates around. Lots of area denial as well, stuff on the ground. DPS players and healers will have their weapons disarmed, and they need to go and pick them up at various times to unsilence themselves. And then this other mechanic here is interrogation. So this will target a person. They will get to run away for a while. Once that finishes, it will put them in a cell. And you want to break them out of this cell, because if you don't, the boss will eventually reach them, right? They will fixate and reach them eventually, and then kill them. So you do want to avoid that when possible. You can see here, we very nearly experienced a catastrophe. We were able to land the battle res here, and the boss was low enough that we were able to convert this into a kill, but it was not pretty. So you want to, ideally, person who gets targeted by interrogation runs far away. Everybody else in the group quickly kills the cell that spawns. All right, let's go to second boss. Second boss we killed was the one in the Oasis. So again, you have to do the Oasis event to be able to get in there. And then this boss has this cool mechanic where everybody picks up a musical instrument, and depending on which one they are, they're all slightly different mini games. You can see I picked up this, I don't know anything about instruments, saxophone or something, and it puts these 3 musical notes in a line in front of you, and then you line yourself up, press your extra action button, and it like charges you through them. If you can land all of your musical notes, you will get 25% damage, healing, and haste, which is really nice. And if you only land some of them, you still get a small buff. This will eventually then get you into this boss fight where you get to fight this boss. And this boss didn't seem to be particularly deadly. Now the next boss is the male boss. This boss was bugged for us. The way it works, it has these swirlies you can soak. If you soak them, you take a small dot, but if you don't soak them, it leaves a puddle on the floor that denies that space for the rest of the fight. So it's a reasonable idea to soak them. Fan mail here just needs to get healed. Those holding pens, you don't need to actually open those. That doesn't do anything. But the mechanic, and then this is a soak. Everybody can soak this, or whoever's being targeted can immune. It's the same look as the opulence soak, but yeah, you can see not too much damage if everybody soaks it. Then this portal comes out. So these packages are supposed to be brought to whichever portal gets active. You can see that hasn't happened quite yet, and there it is. There's the active portal. So the goal is to throw these packages into the portal, but obviously you can't reach far enough in one throw. One throw can only go like 20 yards or something. So you're trying to kind of form a line, right, and throw to each other. But for us, this was bugged. You can see I threw it to somebody, and they didn't actually pick it up. And so these all are going to explode because for some reason they weren't being picked up reliably. And so these things are exploding, and we wiped to this mechanic. I think this is it's just bugged. They weren't always working when they landed. I've heard reports this may be fixed even now. So eventually we killed that by just doing enough damage that it died before that happened. So if you can do enough DPS, we were doing, let me see if I can find the group-wide DPS we did. Yeah, so we killed this thing, doing pretty high group-wide DPS here, as you can see. But we had another 15 seconds, I think, before the bombs would have killed us on this pull. So you need pretty high damage if you're, like, you need to be in, like, mythic Nathria gear and have everybody kind of owning. But you see we brought along a hunter here, so there's room for you to do more damage if you make a wiser choice on that front. Third boss we did was the Menagerie, and this boss was sweet. So this boss has, like, it's 3 different bosses, and you fight them sort of sequentially. So first you're fighting just the first boss, and then you're fighting bosses 1 and 2, and then you're fighting bosses 2 and 3, and then you're just fighting the third boss. It's really cool, because the mechanics are basically all dodgeable, but hard to dodge, and they overlap in difficult ways. You can see here, grips you in, and then you need to get out of that circle. Okay, easy enough, not too much of a problem. But once you get this boss, the second boss, into this as well, you start having multiple things going on at the same time. It'll also do this. So now you've got circles that you need to avoid, and that actually fills up the whole room. So you need to dodge the first set and then dodge the second set. Now you have the other boss going on. So now we're running out of that circle and also spreading with those big circles. And then this guy does one of the most deadly ones where it'll just start. This is a tank buster during that, I think, that you just interrupt. And then it will like vent these orbs in a sec. Here it is, venting protocol. And this just starts sending orbs all over the room that you want to dodge. This is really cool. Really cool mechanics. So you can see all kinds of dangerous spaces. And then you get the last boss. The last boss hops down. And the last boss basically has a copy of the Artificer Zymox mechanic, where it sucks everybody in. It's not quite as deadly as that, but it is pretty strong. And of course it overlaps with these other mechanics that the Kyrian Giant is doing, right, during venting protocol and stuff. So you want to avoid that if you can. You can see everybody getting sucked in, and also all the orbs going around, and now having to spread. So really, really cool fight. I love this fight. Very fun. And let's move on to Boss 5? Yeah, Boss 5. Boss 5 is incredibly sweet, but also really hard. But really, really, really fun. So the way it works is there's 6 portals that float around the room here. And I'm just describing hard modes. I don't know how these bosses work on normal. I'm just describing the hard modes. On normal, these will all be way, way, way easier. So if you're fighting this boss, there's the 6 portals that float around, and you can see they each have different shapes. The triangle one teleports you to the triangle portal, the circle to the circle, etc. The boss draws a wall that's impassable through the middle of the room as well. And your goal is just to use the teleporters to avoid having that line hit you. You can see here, there's that other mechanic that got us there, which is called the triple technique or something. The way the triple technique works is it will cast for like 10 seconds, and then go to one side of the room. So you need to interrupt it 3 times, and it will remember how far it got into its cast. So if you interrupt the first one after 4 seconds, the next cast will only have 6 seconds on it, right? So you want to kick all 3 as fast as possible and have multiple people in your group interrupt if you can. So as this fight gets more and more hectic, you will get situations like this, right? So you can see we're on this side of the room, a circle's coming out over here, and we need to get inside this circle. So this one's pretty easy, right? We'll just go and use the circle teleporter, and we will be safe, right? Bang. Nice and simple. But as this fight progresses, now you can see the boss has divided the room into 4 that can't actually walk on top of each other. Oh, and we need to get over there to interrupt it. Okay. So we take the square portal, and we can just barely get there in time to land that last interrupt. Okay, whew, that was close. That, could have almost been a disaster if we were out of range to get these interrupts, because the portals keep moving around, and now between all 4 of these quadrants. So here comes another example, right? So we've got this circle expanding over here. We need to get to this square portal to get safe, right? How on earth are we going to do that? Well, we're in a quadrant with just the circle portal, so we take the circle portal, come out over here, take the triangle portal, come out over here, and take the square portal, and we will come out over here. But we need to do this fast. We need to do this before that line, cuts us off over here, or else we're going to be in trouble, right? So here's what that looks like in practice. Here's how much time you have. Teleport, almost got caught there. Teleport, 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 and we're safe. But you can see there's only a couple seconds of reaction time with that pattern. That was really, really tough, actually, but really fun to do. And then you can see, even before this is over, we are again doing it with the next set, and barely was I able to make that in time, and I reacted pretty fast to that thing. So I think there's a good chance they're going to nerf this, but I hope they don't. It's so fun and cool. And I don't know how different this is on normal mode, but this fight was a joy to play. You really, after you pull it, once or twice, the mechanic is just it becomes so intuitive how you're supposed to use these portals to get in position and do all your mechanics. Yeah, that's what that looks like. Really, really cool boss fight, so hope you enjoy it. I did. This is probably my favorite fight in here. You can see we let a cast go off right at the end. I could have stopped that, but I didn't, so let's go to the next boss. So the next zone, you're going to be returned to Legion, actually, to Stormheim. Don't big pull these Murlocs. These Murlocs have these scale benders or something, scale menders, and they will cast rejuvenating fish sticks. These, like, full heal all the Murlocs if you don't kill them. So pull small so that you don't have to deal with too many fish sticks at a time. We ended up having, like, 4 packs pulled at once, and it took 5 minutes to finish that pull, so don't do that. But once you finish this, you get to go and fight the 6th boss, Hylbrande. This boss is pretty fun. The main thing to do is kill the ads as they spawn, interrupt the ad that comes and does a cast. That one needs to get interrupted. You can see it spawns right at the start of the fight here, this breaker. And that thing, you really, really want to make sure that you do not let it chain cast. That would be bad. You kill the other ads that spawn as well. Focus the ads because they will stop you from being able to do the intermission if you do not kill them. And the way the intermission on this fight works is the 4 runes you can see in the middle of the room will all light up. And each one of them will have an orb on them. And then there are 4 consoles in the 4 corners of the room that you need to deliver those to in order to stop the thing from killing you. Now, it took us a little bit to figure this out, but there's also a console at the front of the room. The way this works is somebody clicks on that console in the front of the room, and it will show you an alignment where the 4 orbs are supposed to go, which color is supposed to go to which console. And then that person will call out which person goes where. So here you can see we have somebody right up at the front, ready to click on this during the intermission. I'll just play the audio for what this sounded like.
Blue bottom left, purple, blue top left. Blue top left, purple top right, orange bottom left, yellow bottom right.
And you can see we all move the correct colors to the correct ones.
Mine was
Oh my
correct.
god!
Oh my god!
Oh my god! We're so cool!
Fuck, that was so...
We were very excited about that because, well, we had wiped that a couple times, but we ended up getting it, and yeah, the boss dies soon thereafter. Not too much else going on. Let's go on to the next boss. Next boss is this pirate dragon. This boss wasn't too bad. Dodge swirlies, and the main thing you want to do is the tank needs to aim that breath at the ads. If you aim the breath at the ads, it will kill them instantly. If you don't aim the breath at the ads, eventually the ads will live for long enough that the boss will time warp them, and then things will actually start to be a problem. But as long as you can hit them, I think you get like 3 breaths at each of them before they become a problem. You can see here, like, this one's been missed. Now again, I think it's about to get time warped. So I guess if you don't kill it after it's with your 2nd breath, it time warps and it now is moving really fast and causing a lot of damage. So yeah, you do want to try and hit those with a breath. But other than that, pretty simple fight. Dodge swirly, kill boss. Probably easier in the bottom half of difficulty in this dungeon. We felt pretty easy one shot. We didn't feel too much in danger on this one. And then you have the last boss. The last boss is really cool. We eventually decided you don't want to lust phase 1 because we wanted to save it for phase 2. So we decided to just go in. These assassins spawn on pull. Kill them off real quick. If they teleport and start casting, interrupt that cast, or else you'll be in great danger. Then the Collapsing Star comes out. So Collapsing Star spawns in a spot, and it needs to be soaked a bunch of times. Each person should only soak it once, and you don't want to soak it back to back. So what you can see this, when I soak it there, I get 2 debuffs, right? The whole raid has the 1 debuff, which only lasts 3 seconds, right? When that goes away, we will be safe to take another hit of it. Otherwise, we would take extra damage if we soaked it again. And I personally have a debuff that says I shouldn't be the person who touches it next time, because I will take extra damage if I do. So the way we do this is we wait until that goes away, and then the next person goes in, and then we wait until that debuff goes off of everybody, and then the next person goes in, and then it bugged for us where for some reason it was still there, but it didn't show up, and so it actually just ended up exploding and hurting everybody, even though we tried to soak it here last time. So again, slightly buggy fight. But as you can see, even though this ends up exploding, even though it's not there, and dealing heavy damage to us, all it costs us is a cheat death and a battle res, and we were fine. We were able to recover this situation, but it was kind of scuffed. So as you can see, frantically trying to figure out why I can't res, realizing it has a rage cost. I'm picking up Guardian Druid, by the way, as you may have figured from this video. So yeah, then you get another set of assassins, handle these the same way as before. This phase, though, all in all, not too scary. But once you reach 40% health, you go to phase 2. Now, this stage is pretty cool. So these 5 artifacts come towards the boss, and they start spinning around, and the boss ascends into this thing. Don't pop your cooldowns instantly. This boss is immune until you do the first mechanic, so do not do that. And the boss then yeets these 5 relics out in random directions. Now what happens is everybody gets an arrow, and the boss charges following those arrows. Each person needs to make sure that the boss travels through a relic, because all 5 relics need to be shot with this, or else you will be... it will not stop casting, it will keep casting, and it will ramp up in damage. So, to facilitate this, we broke the room into 4 quadrants, and we assigned each person to 1 quadrant, and then the best mechanical player in the group, me, was assigned to float and figure out where there was the last unassigned spark, and then go and bring the thing there. And so you can see the jolt then ends up passing through all 5 of them, and we're able to start damaging the boss. We pop our lust, and we blow our cooldowns. We start attacking the boss as much as we can here, because we want to get out of this phase as soon as possible. Energy fragmentation, very cool looking mechanic. Little thing that bounces between all 5 relics and makes them explode in this star pattern. So you just want to dodge that as much as possible, of course. And then the boss will keep relocating these relics. Collapsing star happens again in this phase. You want to handle this collapsing star as quickly but safely, because you don't want to have this phase get too long and have the other mechanics overlapping with it. So you can see we want to just take care of this thing, get it out of the playing field. You can probably delay the first soak until after that all those circles mechanic is done. But yeah, we end up getting the last soak on it and everything handled. Then we have to do, so there's another energy fragmentation. That's just the star-shaped dodge thing that comes out of everyone. You can see one of our players is down. You do need to land a battle res on this, otherwise somebody's going to have to do the geometry to figure out a way to hit 2 of them with 1 line. So you actually do really want all 5 of your people alive, and you can see the boss is now immune again, and once again we need to land our line here. Now this one doesn't work, and I think the reason it doesn't work is that the jolt actually isn't going through that relic over there. So let's play that again, because this might happen to your group. You might wonder why yours doesn't work. 4 of our players are on the other side of their relics relative to the line, right? Like me, you can see I'm on the other side, and the line is going through mine. But 1 player is just right underneath it. I don't think that works. I think you actually need to bring it to the other side. So you need to make sure that the line goes through a relic and doesn't just get halfway into it. Because I think if you can see here, 4 of these got taken care of, but that one didn't. And so what happens when that happens? No biggie, not the end of the world. They move around again, but you get a little bit of time, and this time we were able to land it. It's really good to try and do it the first time. You have much less time to line up your shot the second time, and you're taking extra damage from each jolt. It starts stacking up on you, but it's still possible, so don't panic if that happens. Then once that dies, bang, cool stuff, Yaxel if you're a Night Fae, and the quest is completed. Quest being completed means you get to... So that's actually a different quest, right? That was the regular mode quest, just for a bunch of anima, and then there's the hard mode quest as well, that you turn in back at the... So you have to turn in the hard mode quest back in the Oasis, right? So you go on a little adventure back over to the Oasis, nice fun journey, and you will be able to then pick up your perfect, credential things, perfectly forged credentials, and you can use those to activate hard mode again in future. And that, again, just everybody in the group uses them before the key starts, or before the dungeon starts. And that's that. Yeah, good necklace, worth using, probably until you get heroic or maybe mythic necklace, Simmet, if you're a DPS player. One thing I learned about this dungeon, there are teleporters scattered throughout the dungeon. You talk to the person to activate them that's next to them, and then you don't have to do a 10-minute run back if you wipe towards the end of the dungeon. That's something I learned and wish I had known at the start. Anyways, that's been my experience with Tazavesh. Dungeon is beautiful. A couple bosses are a little buggy. A lot of bosses are really fun. Really cool mechanics. Hope this video helped you prepare for it. If you're interested in written guide content, I would recommend the Mythic Trap website. They have a really good quick guide for getting through the quest line and explaining how the hard mode stuff works. If you are doing this with a group of people, the whole group needs to be attuned for hard mode, right? So just send them this page, get them to follow all these steps with you, make sure the whole group is doing it, and that should be all you need to do to get your Tazavesh hard mode done. Cool mount out of the deal as well. Let's see if I can show you the mount. It's a nice one. So, yeah. Anyways, hope you liked this video. Come check out my Twitch stream. Obviously, the quality of this video is maybe a little low because I was just watching the Twitch VOD there. Sorry about that. I just wanted to get it out as fast as possible. But that was where you could first see this. And if you have any questions, always feel free to come by there and ask. Hit subscribe and like and stuff. Okay, dude, I finished stalling. The loading screen is done. Here's what that here's that mount looks like. Got a cool little summoning animation. Cool little, you know, mage disc style thing that you fly around on. And it does a little loop-to-loop when you hit spacebar on it. So, very cool. Anyways, thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.